and welcome to this video where I'm going to be taking you through a yoga flow to support with opening the hips and loosening tight hamstrings. So for this flow, I would recommend some props. So yoga blocks, as you can see, I've got two either side of my mat, and then also a yoga strap. So if you don't have a yoga strap, a belt is fine. And then also you may want to bring a blanket, and I'll show you and tell you where you can bring those props into play. So if you want to hit pause on this video and grab those items, please feel free to do so. So we're going to get started in a tabletop position. So palms pressed into the mat, fingers spread wide, shoulders above the wrists, knees hip distance apart, and tuck the toes under. Exhale and shift your weight up and back into a downward facing dog. Now your heels may be lifted with your knees bent. That's all good. You also have the option to place your palms on your blocks as well. So that's just an option there. Spread those fingers wide. Look underneath, in between your legs. Breathe. And then we're going to gently walk to the top of the mat. So begin to walk to the top of your mat. Inhale, half forward fold, hands on the shins. Exhale, forward fold, bending at the knees if needed, and just allow your head to drop. And then inhale, circling the arms overhead, and then exhale, circling the arms down, and just bring your palms in front of your chest in prayer pose. From here, we're going to move into Malasana. So it's a yogi squat, and it's also known as garland pose. So just begin to walk your feet out either side of the mat. So your toes are going to be slightly pointing outwards, like so. And we're going to make our way down into this squat position. If needed, you can place your hands on your thighs as you make your way down. So begin to move down into that squat position. Your elbows inside your inner thighs, pressed into those thighs, opening them up. You can also, at this point, bring your block underneath you so you can sit on that block for support. Back straight, looking ahead, and just breathe in this position and feel what's taking place in your body right now. Every single one of us is different. So what we are experiencing in this moment is going to be different from one person to the next. And that's the beauty of yoga. Also, if your heels are not on the ground, you can also, at this point, use that blanket underneath those heels to support and prop you up. So from here, we are going to inhale, standing all the way up. Exhale, back down into that squat position. Inhale, up. Exhale, back down. And we're going to hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, up, arms overhead. Exhale, back down into that squat position. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Arms overhead. Inhale. Exhale. Back down into that squat position. And just breathe here for a few moments. Inhale, standing up. And this time we're going to fold forward, exhale, and place the hands underneath the feet, on top of the feet, or on the shins, and stretch those hamstrings. Now, if your knees need to be bent, you can also bring in blocks at this point as well to be able to support you. And just breathe in this position, gazing down on your mat and feeling what's taking place and where you feel that stretch in your body. Release the feet if you had your hands underneath your feet. Circle the arms overhead and make your way back down into that squat position for the final time. From here, we are going to come into what's called Skandasana. So it's like a wide squat. So coming to the front of your mat, long ways. And then from here, what we're going to do is, and I'm going to show you from this position, is I'm going to take my right foot at an angle, so toes pointed out, and then my left foot pointing out ahead to the front of my mat. And I'm going to begin to make my way down. You can use your hands as well at this point into what's called Skandasana. So left leg stretched out, right knee bent, the heel may be on the ground or lifted, and just bring your hands into prayer pose, or you can keep them on the mat. Another option is to have the right palm pressed into the ground and lifting that right arm overhead. So those are just some options for you. And we're just going to breathe here for a moment. And then we're going to switch sides. So begin to walk the hands along the ground, shifting the weight into that left foot, bending that left knee and lifting that right foot. So you're balancing on your heels. Again, palms on the ground in front of the chest, or again, the option to have your arm overhead. And just breathe in Skandasana. And I love the name of this pose. Okay. We're going to do that one more time, either side. And we're just going to flow it this time versus staying. Okay, final time. I did say one more time. And there you have it, Skandasana. From here, we're going to make our way back onto the mat. So come into an easy seat position, so bum on the ground, and then bring your feet together. Hands can be on the top part, bottom part of your leg, or they can be wrapped around your feet. And this is bound angle pose. Now for this pose as well, you can have blocks underneath your knees. And we are just gonna stay here, feel what's happening in the body in this moment for you. And if you want to take it one step further and make your way down, forehead on those feet, feel free to do so. Coming back up from that position. And then we're going to make our way onto our back. And we're going to come into a reverse pigeon pose. So back pressed into the mat. Knees upwards. And you're going to take your right leg and you're going to place your right ankle on the top of your left thigh. Lifting that left leg and bringing that left leg closer to your chest, and both of your hands clasped underneath that left thigh. Your right forearm, elbow pressing into that inner right thigh. Left foot flexed, and just feel what's happening for you right now. We're just going to take a couple of breaths there. Belly rumbling. I need to eat. And then we're just going to place the feet back onto the mat. And then we're going to do the other side. So left ankle on top of the right thigh. Bring that right thigh into the chest. Clasp behind it with your hands. And feel where there's an opening for you. And also, does the left side feel different to the right side? Or is it about the same? Release and place those feet back onto the mat. Now, this is where we're going to bring in our yoga strap, as we are going to do a reclining big toe pose. So stretch out the left leg on your mat and just bring the strap underneath your right foot, like so. You can also have the left leg bent if you prefer. And we're just going to hold either side of the strap and bring that leg close into our chest, feeling where that stretch is happening across the backside of your leg. You might want to move it around a little bit. Have a play around. Feel, explore, and connect with your body within this moment. Bring that down. Breathe. Breathe it out. I'm swaying my leg from side to side because that feels good for me. And I can feel where that stretch is taking place. And then from here, I'm just going to release that right leg, stretched out onto the ground. And then I'm going to do the same with the left. So bring your strap under that left foot, right leg stretched out on the ground or knees bent, and just allow that left leg to come into the chest. And again, feel free to play here. Release that left foot. Bring the knees up and just sway them from side to side like windshield wipers. Bring the knees back to center and just come up, and we are going to move into a forward fold. So for this, you may decide not to use your strap, or you can. So arms overhead, I'll use the strap to demonstrate this. And then I'm just going to place the strap underneath my feet and I'm going to bend over. You can bend your knees as well and just breathe in this position. Alternatively, you can also do this without a strap and having your hands underneath your feet. Forehead on the knees, breathing in this position. Embrace what you're feeling right now. If there is something that doesn't feel right, again, that option to bend the knees if it's too intense to keep those legs stretched out. Make your way back up and we're going to come into a pigeon pose. So back into that tabletop position that we started with, and then you're going to bring your right foot in between your hands and you're going to begin to shift that right foot across over to the left, stretching out your left leg at the back. Gently bring that leg, the right leg, onto your mat. Top of the left foot onto the ground. You may stay here, arms stretched out, looking ahead. Or you may come down, forehead on the mat, using your hands as a pillow. Or alternatively, bringing in that block and using it as a pillow for your forehead. You may also use a block underneath that hip. Coming down. And we're going to stay here for 10 seconds. Coming back up onto your hands, palms in the mat. Tuck the toes under. Bring that left leg a bit forward. Lift the knee off the ground. And then bring that right leg back into that tabletop position. And we're going to switch sides. So doing exactly the same thing on the left. So left foot in between your hands. Begin to scoot that right leg back. Top of the foot on the ground. And then gently open up with that left leg on your mat. Looking ahead. And then coming down into whatever position you have chosen for your hands, whether it's your arms straight, looking ahead, forehead resting on your hands as a pillow, or whether you have your block underneath your forehead. Press the palms into the mat. Tuck the toes under. Lift the knee off the ground and come back into that tabletop. And to close, we're just going to move into a child's pose. So begin to bring the knees back. Big toes together to touch or knees together. Begin to bring the torso down in between the thighs. Forehead on the mat, arms stretched out in front of you. Gaze down. You may close your eyes at this point as well. And just digest the flow that we have just done. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch this video, and feel free to come back to it anytime it feels right for you.